podcast. I'm in Max. Pursuing the RPG hobby with reckless abandon.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to Season 20, Episode 10 of the Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
Jib. That's me, Jib.
Throw it over to you.
No, it's you. You gotta go first.
I'm Scott. Hey.
And Scott Hay. And I'm Scott. I'm not Stork Hay. I'm not Scott Hay. I'm Stork. But that's Scott Hay. Who's this guy?
Who are you and what do you do that makes you
I
famous?
kind of like your style, though. I kind of like the.
Hey!
I kind of like what you got going on here.
Oh, the hair?
Yeah.
Well, I was told that that's what I had to have.
Right?
It is the fabulous hair episode of Happy Jack's RPG.
You have to have
That end of the table.
must have facial hair.
I have a little.
And either a lot of hair
Or none.
or no hair, unless you're Jib, and then you can just have regular hair.
Do you really want me to introduce myself?
Yes,
Okay,
of course. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. I'm Scott Woodard. My claims to fame are many, but right now, the one that's sort of starting to bubble is that I wrote the Flash Gordon role-playing game for Pinnacle Entertainment Group, which is Savage Worlds based. Kickstarter is coming soon. I also wrote the Six Gun. Wrote that entire line. Oh yeah, hey, I got the Six Gun. That one there, right there. See, Six Gun.
That's a Savage Worlds.
That is a Savage Worlds Weird West, based on the Six Gun graphic novel published by Oni Press.
Okay.
Which is why it looks like a graphic novel.
Yes, but it is a role playing game, as you can see. I wrote that, and what else? Oh, while we're at it, current things: Cinema and Sorcery. I'm plugging all my books. I'm plugging everything. This just more or less just came out. It was an any nominee. Mm-hmm. We didn't win. That's not a tear. There's something in my eye.
All the best games don't win Ennies.
Right?
But it's not
All
a
the
game.
best podcasts.
But it has game content.
Oh, okay, what is it?
This is Cinema and Sorcery. It is a comprehensive guide to fantasy movies, sword and sorcery movies from the silent era all the way to the present day.
Oh, really?
There is game content in it, which I insisted on. So if, for example, if you want to use the serpent dagger from Conan the Barbarian in your game, it's in there. And I statted up 50 items from various movies.
Oh, no
so
shit.
50 films are covered in great detail.
Okay, sir. I challenge you. What's the Sword and the Sorcerer? What's that double-bladed sword stat?
The tri-bladed sword.
Yeah.
It is in there. If you want to look it up. I did stat that. You can read all about it. And so we picked 50 movies. Some great ones, some not so great ones.
Sword and the Sorcerer. Yeah.
Hey, Sword and Sorcerer is not a bad film.
It's not a good film.
Revisit it. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
It does have some fun lines.
It's a little rapey. Though.
It is.
A little rapey?
And the woman playing the princess is not hard on the eyes. Let's just
There
say
is that. Well,
in this day and age.
80s sword and sorcery movies tended to be, they tended to cater
And
to
the
that.
guy that was in Murphy Brown played the priest. That was so awesome. Yeah, he played.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
And Horsley,
Lee
Lee Horsley.
Lee Horsley.
He's the lead.
Most unfortunate name ever.
But yes. But anyway, so this book.
He's Lee Horsley. I mean, his name is a palindrome.
It is.
Not really.
I never
It'd
thought
be
of
Eel Horse Eel, but Lee Horsley.
I didn't make fun of his name in the book.
Okay.
Not at all.
It's okay. Stork Guy
So it's
took care of that
it's
part.
a safe book. It's not a...
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, 480 pages. It's big, chunky. You can see it's a big beast of a book, and every movie that
How about the frisbee in Krull?
Yeah, the glaive. It's
That's
in there,
in there
and it's statted.
He
awesome.
wins.
It's
He's got
generic.
it.
They're generically statted. Let's
Okay.
put it that way. So I don't actually have stats per for an individual title or game or whatever.
Right.
But it's all in there. So that I'm very proud of this book. Co-authored with my friend Arnold Blumberg. So
What a great idea! I like that. That's
Cool.
awesome. And I've thrown him 2 curves, 3 curves, and he got it. So
yeah, no, I guarantee every.
you're old
sword
because you
and
got all
sorcery-
this '80s stuff.
Yeah, but it goes back to the silent era. Does that make me even older? Oh, my hip. So anyway, it's all in there.
You've got the cabinet of Dr. Caligari in there.
No, that's not sword and sorcery.
But it's a golem.
It doesn't count.
sword and
All right.
sorcery.
No, we actually explained why we.
Is there a
picked that
sword
movie.
in that movie?
No.
No.
Is there sorcery in that movie?
Yes.
No.
It
It has to have both. to be in
okay.
this book, it
Fair
has to
enough.
have both.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so that's some of the stuff I've done, and then I also had these, but I don't know.
Go ahead. Go.
So for Doctor Who fans, there might be one or two in the audience. I wrote some Big Finish audios. If some of you have heard of Big Finish Productions, so I wrote the Juggernauts with the Daleks.
What is Big Finish Audio?
Big Finish is
Let's
a company.
pretend that Stu and I have never heard of this.
Big Finish Productions is a company in the UK that quite a few years ago got the rights to do Doctor Who audio adventures.
Like radio plays?
Radio plays.
Okay.
Fully dramatized with members of the original casts. So they actually have
No
done it with
kidding.
Peter Davison, with Colin
wow.
Baker, and Tom Baker's now doing some. So all of them have jumped in.
These are new stories?
They're all original scripts. So
Sweet.
I wrote Dalek Story. This one is with the Sixth Doctor, Colin Baker. I wrote this one with Paul McGann, Absolution. I don't know if we're getting glare.
Paul McGann, the least of the.
Yes, but he's great.
He is great.
And
he really
he was
should have
awesome.
been. I know.
Yeah.
Paul McGann, one movie.
Awesome guy. And then also they did a 4-part miniseries called I, Davros, which is the story of Davros, the backstory of Davros. And I wrote the 4th episode, Guilt, which is the immediate prequel to Genesis of the Daleks for you Doctor Who
That's
fans.
really
So-
good.
And then I also wrote a Dark Shadows. So if anybody grew up with Dark Shadows,
Oh, yeah, I remember Dark Shadows.
The original
Yes.
Barnabas Collins. We're not talking about that movie.
No.
We're not
No.
even-
No,
And-
we're
pretend that
talking
doesn't
about the
exist,
original
right?
series.
sadly, the original Barnabas Collins, of course, the actor Jonathan Frid passed away a few years ago.
Yeah.
He was alive when I wrote this, but he wasn't participating. So they came up with a clever way to bring in Barnabas, but with a different actor.
Okay.
But anyway, so I've written those as well.
Awesome.
I think that covers most of it.
Then why on earth are you here?
No idea. I was promised booze, and all I got is La Croix
I've
And
got...
so, what's your day job?
for my day job. Actually, my day job is boring, but it's I'm a copywriter and a game designer.
So let that be a note. Listen, for those of us that all want to design games, who all want to write stuff, he still has a day job,
I do.
and this is some cool shit.
Yeah. So I write. I'm a workaholic. I admit it. And so if somebody comes to me and says, "Hey Scott, would you like to do?" and I usually say yes before the sentence.
I'm
is
pretty
completed.
sure if somebody came to me and said, "Would you like to write a Dark Shadows episode?" I'd say yes as well.
Yeah. No, I do. Yeah, exactly.
I would say, yes, it may suck, but I would certainly do it.
Well, they brought me back 4 times.
Excellent.
So
There you go.
obviously, I must have done something right.
There you go. There you go.
So anyway, that's me.
Awesome.
Sweet.
It's really awesome to be here, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you
of
for
course.
being here.
Yeah.
I had to fly so far to get here.
And boy, are your arms tired?
But
Are you local?
I am. I live in Burbank.
Okay. Now,
But in Friday afternoon traffic, that's a commute.
yeah, it
Burbank,
It wasn't bad.
He went up
Wasn't
Log
bad.
Tuna
It was
Candy,
not
came down the
bad.
210.
He did get dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah. These guys feed you if you come on their show.
They do? I need to show up earlier.
In this episode of the Happy Chicks RPG podcast, Avi writes in asking about ways to unstick yourself GM-wise. Charis writes in about glossing over combat. Did we do that email last week?
I haven't listened
No,
to
No.
it yet.
no,
don't think
something
so.
similar, but no.
Okay.
Doesn't sound-
And Steve from Atlanta tells the tale of a PC killing another PC on purpose. But first, if you'd like to email us, you can email us at happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. That's happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. We're also on the social media. We're on Twitter, happyjacksrpg, and also Instagram. And I think you can find us on just practically anything.
Yeah.
happyjacksrpg.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then if you'd like to watch the show live, you can watch at 8 p.m. Pacific time right here. Go to happyjacks.org/live for all of the linkies that you need to find us when we're doing the show live, if you wish to do that. And hello, chat room. I see that there's a chat room, and they're talking about pizza. What?
Pizza's
I
good.
forgot to record. Oh, well.
You can strip it out of the...
I can strip it out of the YouTube.
You said you're everywhere on social media. How's that MySpace page coming along?
We had one. We did.
Did you really? No, I don't think we ever had it. The
And
show started after
the tribe's still going
MySpace's
as well. The tribe
demise.
page is,
Oh, yes.
is still up and
Tribe-
running.
last time I tried to check on Tribe, nothing came up.
Yeah.
Not even. It was like it wasn't even a 404. It's like a. There was like no connection.
My journal is going great, though. That's gangbusters. People are loving it. I've been checking in on it regularly.
The live journal?
Yeah.
Live journal.
Live
Live
yes.
journal.
What did I say?
My journal.
Close enough.
You
You
mashed
get-
up Facebook and
It's
or
all
MySpace and
I didn't mention Facebook. I mentioned. Okay. Yeah. You know what I meant. Go with it.
Face journal.
You know, the inner tubes.
Face right, the inner tubes.
And then let's see. I think that's it. Oh, Sunday we're playing Dead Rain.
Dead Rain.
4 p.m. Pacific time. And then Monday would be
Falling down.
Should be Riffits.
Savage Rifts on Monday.
Yep.
And then
Glitter Boys.
Wednesday is going to be...
Interpol. No, that's
that's a Monday
no,
game.
it's Max.
Max
Werewolf
game.
game.
Yeah, the number of games we're doing now
Is
no longer
ridiculous.
fit inside my memory.
The Happy Jacks Media Empire is now overwhelming.
640K is enough for anybody, man.
He can't keep up with all the games we're doing.
I need that load high thing.
Right?
Autoexec.bat.
One of the first things Stu did for me was actually I brought him over to our house at the time as he was working. I'm because we still had old PCs, and I think we were still running. It wasn't even XP yet. It was like Windows 95.
What are you talking about?
And I had you load high all of the stuff in our
Yeah, because all the games that needed more
Right.
than 640K.
right, which is and I think we all had like
Razor Ridge. Wednesday's Rager Ridge.
There you go.
Razor
Rager Ridge.
Which I listened to the first episode of.
Ranger Rick?
Yeah,
the
go with
other day.
it.
It was fun. It
Yeah.
was fun stuff. Matt, I'm looking forward to seeing where Matt goes with it.
She's doing a good job.
Alfred's still wearing his cowboy hat. For
Yep.
them. I need to get a pirate hat for him,
I
too.
need a pirate hat.
Since you're our guest, would you like to read the first email?
Sure, boss. Wait, am I on the right one here? Is it this one?
Quick GMing question.
Oh, yes,
from
very
Avi.
good. Quick GMing question from Aviv. Is it Aviv?
Aviv.
Aviv Light. Hey, folks, do you think a GM should hide from the group? Hide from the group. Note this. Do you think the GM should hide from the group if they get stuck during a session?
Yes, I recommend Under the Table.
That's
Can
it.
you imagine that?
Next
It's like
question.
table flip. Oh, guys,
There is more.
Stork may have
yes.
been right. Maybe the word "it" was supposed to be in there.
no, that was Jim.
It was me.
Oh, it was you. Okay.
So it says you often describe some of the tricks you use to unstuck yourselves. There's quoties on that. That's a technical term. Such as Stu's famous bathroom con story.
I ran a con at a bathroom once. No.
I heard your stories about Gen Con bathrooms last week, and I busted out laughing while I was out
Oh
on a
my
walk.
God.
I think I scared the neighborhood. All right, going back to the question. Do you think it's fine for the GM to tell their group, I need a couple of minutes to think about what will happen next. Let's take a break. Or should he preface it with some sort of excuse? Personally, I wouldn't have a problem admitting to my players I need to think for a bit before we continue, but I have the luxury of running campaigns over Hangout chat, so I have a lot of time to write my own responses, or to write my responses, as the case may be. With my regards and with my best regards, Aviv. I'm not even going to say the last name because I don't think we have to, do we?
No, we
So
don't.
thanks,
we
Aviv.
generally don't.
So
And the rest of that is our notes.
that's your notes. Good. All right. Well, there's the question.
Myself, I generally prefer to not admit being flummoxed for the most part.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, everyone knows.
No,
when I mean,
no, we don't actually. You're really good at hiding it.
But for me, the thing that I always want to get out of a game, and so I naturally assume that's what everyone else wants to get out of a game, because I'm right, is...
No, you are. You're the GM. We're all hanging on your every word.
Well, no, but I mean, the thing that I always want to get out of a game when I'm playing is that a sense of immersion.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that would break if the GM said, "Oh, you guys just made a total left turn," because I want to have the confidence that the GM is planning this whole thing out, and we're either falling into his trap or foiling him at every turn or whichever it is. That's my opinion based on my preferences.
I did not think you were going to take that tack because I'm going to agree with you, which is I want the person that's behind the wheel to at least pretend like he knows what's going on.
You want the bus driver
To at least know that he
act like he can
act
drive.
like he can drive, or act like he knows where he's going. I do, and in a way, because if I smell weakness, if I smell blood in the water, I'm going to attack, and I may not mean it. It may not be a conscious. It might be a metagaming kind of thing. I'm like, aha! I'm going to exploit. I'm going to poke at this. I'm going to poke at this and see how much further I can go. And it's if your GM shows weakness as a player, suddenly there's this twinkle like we beat him, we win, we won. And I don't think that is necessarily makes for a good game. Maybe for the players for a brief amount of time where they get that exhilaration of like, we win, but now the game's going to go down the tube because now your GM is making shit up and trying to backtrack and trying to scramble and keep up and at least lay out the table. If you don't give them a break, they're not going to give you a worthwhile game, and you're going to leave that game going, well, that kind of sucked. I mean, yeah, we broke him, but now what do we do?
Scott, what do you think?
Well, looking at the question, they do say if the GM gets stuck,
Right.
should they hide from the group? I mean, hide from the group. If we take this literally,
Okay.
I think that's a little extreme.
That's good that you caught yourself.
I think the whole why don't you guys discuss amongst yourself for a little bit is okay. To just say I just got to sort my notes out. But I mean, to be fair, like you guys are kind of saying, I don't think I've ever had to stop a game because things have gotten so derailed. I can get it back, and I'm not saying it's just from experience or anything, but it's just a matter of I know where you're going, so I think it's easy enough to sort of get things back on track a little bit.
Right.
And a clever GM should be able to do it without saying I'm going to go hide, jump in the car, and do another state.
Leave you guys with the check.
See, that's not fair because I think that most GMs are clever. There are times when they get outfoxed. There are times I think when they get outmaneuvered. And I think that maybe it's fair for a GM to take a break to regroup.
Right, but that's what I was saying. You can always say, why don't you guys just chat amongst yourself for just a minute? Let me just get my notes sorted and pick
Right.
back
Yeah,
up.
but you don't let them know that you...
I would. I don't have a problem with saying, not to admit defeat or say that, well, the thing you've just done is a terrible thing and it's really thrown me off track, but to just say, actually, guys, can we just pause for one moment? Because something, I got to just deal with something. I don't think that's necessarily going to...
Here's a great time to take a break. I got to pee.
I have said a few times on this show that I know what's going to happen in the game precisely up until the moment when the characters step into it.
Right.
After that, I have no idea what's going to happen. So that's kind of my
Fair.
normal mode of operation anyway, is I'm playing catch-up and filling in the fiddly bits. But the way I do that is by immersing myself in the genre, in the world, and to try to know the people. Now, I will sometimes get caught flat-footed, and I don't have a problem with my players knowing that they caught me flat-footed, as long as it doesn't take me too terribly long to get things back to moving again.
Sure.
And I don't think I've ever had a case where, like you were saying, Scott, where I can't keep the game moving forward. I might just have to go, hang on a second. Okay, now we know where we're going to go.
Well, see, mine take longer than that.
Thus your bathroom cons.
Well, see, that was a that
We should
was
catch them up to speed.
That's that was kind of a nightmarish story because I was running a con game. It was
It was the
Big Red Planet Hollywood, and it was the Big Blue Monkeys. It's kind of like a pulp steampunkish space thing.
The Kenneth. Kenneth
What
yeah,
turn of the century
with the Wild Wild West.
was that Savage Worlds?
Yes, that was Savage Worlds.
that game was in Savage Worlds. Yes.
Because the first one we did was in Hero.
Hero.
But this was the second one.
Yeah.
And they
burned
blew through your content.
Oh, I see.
50 minutes. I set it up. Here's my scenes. Here's what's going to happen. Here's a couple combats. Amazing dice rolls and combats, and
That happens.
and
This is
just
Savage Worlds.
a driven party that's like, we're going to solve this.
They were on that bone, and they
like
wouldn't let go.
less than an hour. They had burned through everything I had, including like the little
Epilogue.
extra thing I might throw in if things are moving along too quickly. And I'm like, okay, I don't mind when I've run the game and the game comes to a good conclusion. I don't mind letting the players go, an hour early or whatever. I don't care. But 3 hours early, I don't know about that. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and I sat in the bathroom. And I grabbed a napkin and I had a pencil with me. And I'm like, and I basically just kind of had to brainstorm right there more content that logically fit in with the stuff that had already happened.
Right.
And
And you got to poo at the same time, which is okay.
I actually didn't have to go.
he was shitting diamonds at that point because he was so uptight.
But it was like when I run like the vampire game, I know all the NPCs, and if I want to come up with something to do, I always have a list of things that I can throw in at some point. But this was like I have to come up with something just off the top of my head
To fill
cloth.
3 hours.
Fill 3 hours.
Right.
And it ended up being really combat heavy because I'm like, okay, that seems to be the slowest part here. So I'll just, and that's when I came up with the spider mechs and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, with the laser beams.
Freaking laser.
Lasers.
But after I think at the show that evening, I think I said that
Yeah, you let the cat out of the
all
bag.
of that stuff after this point was all made up right there in the bathroom, right outside the.
And all your players that were there were like,
What?
I didn't know.
I had no idea.
But I needed silence. I needed. I mean, because
Convention bathrooms, you're not going to get a lot of silence.
Yeah, but
No,
that was as close as he's going to get.
back then it was it the other hotel?
Yeah, no, it was. It was the
hotel.
Marriott. We still had like individual
They
bathrooms.
were like
Conference
rooms
rooms.
that people had
Oh,
knocked
right.
the wall out. So there's 2 bathrooms and there's only single occupancy
Right.
on either side. So I just went in there,
Oh,
click.
nice.
Oh my god!
I did sit down. But yeah, it was
Hold on, read books.
right. I guess, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I'll be back. I think that I don't know that I have clear advice to give anybody on this, other than to say, follow your instincts. If you feel like your players will enjoy what's happening more if they don't know that you're having to take a step back and think about things for a minute before you move on, then don't tell them. If you think that that's a cool thing for you to share with them, then go with it. It would be such a unique and individual thing. I don't know that I could give you advice.
You're absolutely right. Stu's point about right there, which is I needed silence. That's how he works. That's what he needed at that point to solve this problem. And so, whatever it takes for you, if you need to hide from your players for X amount of time to solve it, then that's what you need to do. I'm encouraging you though to not show weakness. Let them think it's a long extended break while you're ordering pizza, and they don't have to know that you're in the bathroom furiously writing out plot points. But everybody has their way of solving problems, and whatever works for you, that's what you need to do. I think it's okay to take a break. It's okay if your players, come to a point where you're like, I'm not prepared for this. But I don't think it's okay to tell them that. I think it's cool to go, all right, or maybe occasionally like, I'm going to need to come up with a couple NPC stats. Why don't we break for pizza while I write a bunch of NPCs up? Whether you are or not, it's okay to come up with, because now they're like, oh yeah, we are going to enter combat, and we completely, all right. And they can go off on that pizza, and you're like, shit. I think that whatever it takes for you to come up with your solution, whatever, if you need silence, if you need to have them go away, do that. And have pizza at the same time. So I got out of that.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Have more pizza.
Pizza's the answer.
Yeah, I think pizza is the answer.
I think pizza's the
Now,
answer.
is there any like tactics or tricks anyone uses to sort of get your creative stuff going in a situation like that?
For me, what I'm going to key on in that moment is what are the things that tie back to the player characters.
Yes, exactly.
It's always going to be what ties back to the player character. So they mentioned, their third cousin twice removed that's back in Hobbit, and guess who got kidnapped by the bad guys and is now,
At that point, you're going to mine the backstories for every
Yeah.
little detail you can, because that's the quickest, easiest solution.
I'm going to get a hold of whatever they've said
Yeah.
that is going to be of interest to them. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to grab whatever they've said.
And so often the players actually come up with their own plot points
Oh,
in
yeah.
the game. Like, inevitably you'll have the one guy who'll say, watch, we're going to go through a room, or go through a door, and we're going to run into such and such a creature.
Why?
And of course it's not in your
you
script, but then,
know?
oh, look at this!
You're a genius.
You're brilliant. Thank you for that idea.
Yes.
There is no easy trick for unsticking yourself, right? I mean, this happens in all mediums.
Breathe.
Yeah.
This happens in all mediums. So if you have writer's block, sometimes you just have to get up, you have to go for a jog, drink beer,
Yeah.
just stop for the day. I mean, it's kind of the
I
same
don't
with the
recommend
GM.
going
It's
for a jog
a little bit
in
more
the middle
immediate.
of your game. But-
We're all.
I was just reminded of something. I was reading an interview written many, many years ago with one of the best baseball players of all time. He was and they
Ty
were talking
Cobb.
about batting. And statistically speaking, batting is one of the hardest things to do in all of sport.
It's cricket. Yeah.
Okay.
No, not in cricket, baseball. Cricket's
So was Ty
Stork, stop
Cobb.
don't worry, it doesn't matter who it
Go
was.
ahead.
Because that's not really not important to the story.
Okay.
But he was saying that to hit the baseball, you want to see it coming slowly. So you need to breathe slowly. Okay? I think there's a corollary to that to when you're GMing a game.
Continue.
No, we were being pigs. Carry on.
Ross Porter?
But when
Is he a
you're
baseball player? No.
no,
Ty Cobb.
Jackie Robinson.
It was Ty Cobb.
It's Ty Cobb.
Oh, Jackie Robinson. Yeah. You know, he was born
You sure
just
it's
up
not
here.
Mel
Yeah,
Famey?
I know.
You're Mel Famey. I mean.
But the point is that try to slow yourself down
Right.
when because you're probably going to be tense in that moment, and you know things are going to start to flutter. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Slow down.
Good talk.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
I agree with you, Jim, because I think that GMing can be a very stressful thing. The more you do it, the better you get at it, for sure. But there are times, for sure, where you're like, holy shit, what am I going to do? They're going to know I'm a fake. They're going to know I'm fake. I'm messed up. What do I do now? And there's always those moments. And as time goes on, you get better and better at faking it. But there are those moments where you have to plow through and fake your way through a moment or two. And the first couple of times it happens, or maybe the first 100 times it happens, it can be really intimidating.
You know, the ironic thing is, unless you're running like a pre-made adventure, you invented a bunch of stuff out of whole cloth anyway.
Right.
Right? At some point, you started with a blank piece of paper or a blank screen or something, and you filled it up with stuff you just pulled out of your ass. And for me, it helps to just remember, oh no, I got to this point. I'll just imagine I'm back wherever it was I was prepping all this stuff, and I'll just write some more of it.
Now that is good advice.
Because it's, I mean, that
I made it up the first time. I can keep
make
making it
it
up.
Made up this.
Crunch all you want. We'll make
so. I mean, and for me, I just want to make sure. I just want to keep the illusion of preparation.
Yeah. I want that as a player.
Right.
I want to know that I haven't fucked everything up. I want to know that it's been planned. I want to know that you are that smart, and we're all along for the ride.
Yeah. All right. Glossing over combat from Charis.
Do we want to talk about what people played this week?
Oh yeah. Go.
Because I went to a GameCon last weekend.
What'd you go to?
We went to Big Bad Con.
Mm-hmm.
Big bad call.
Big bad con. Big bad con.
It's in.
Who was that? Hold on a second.
Big
This is
Bad John.
important. Yeah. Who did the song?
No. I'm trying to remember who did that song because I used to have a recording of it. While Stu finds out, I'll tell you about Big Bad
The
Con.
internet.
The internet.
The
Hello.
interwebs. It's a series of tunes.
Jimmy Dean?
And then he made sausages.
All right then. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah.
that's it. It's in near San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And it is a wonderful con.
Is it primarily RPGs?
It's almost entirely RPGs.
Oh, really?
That's really
They have
cool.
a room that's board games, but the con's really about
So
RPGs.
the board gamers get the basement. Then.
That's one of the lovely things about this con.
No basement?
The hotel actually loves us and loves the fact that we're there. I was talking with somebody who worked at the hotel.
What's that like?
And I was like, I just wanted to thank you guys because you guys are really awesome. We like coming to this hotel. I said, well, we love you guys. You guys are awesome. We love having you guys here. I was like, what's that about?
It's amazing.
But yeah, it's a lovely hotel and there's lots of food options around and whatnot. But it's largely indie game focused. Mm-hmm. But get lots of game designers, like the designer of Atlas Reckoning was there, and lots of other game designers, and you get lots of games in process, games that are being worked on, and whatnot. And it's just a ton of fun.
That's what Games on Demand in Gen Con was like. a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse betas or in development games.
Yeah.
The one and only role-playing game I played there was The Ward, which is a medical procedural kind of.
Interesting.
Squad 51.
Well, it was like it could be
ER.
it could be any of them. St. Elsewhere, yeah. But but there,
GM
I would
545.
I don't know. When I looked at the list of games available, I think all of them were Powered by the Apocalypse. Most of them were things I've never heard of. So they were someone was
things are in
developing.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are a couple of reasons for that. One is that Apocalypse World is kind of a recent hotness sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's really, relatively speaking, easy to craft a new game using those building blocks.
Right.
I know because I've been doing it. And so I think that's one reason why we're seeing a lot of those games. And a lot of the people that I talk to about Powered by the Apocalypse games, and I know for me personally, back in the day when I was playing D&D, what I wanted D&D to be is what these games are now. And so you have that flexibility and that freedom to do things that are cool and awesome and amazing.
Right.
Which you can do in Savage Worlds too.
I was going to
Yes.
say, here, how's the Pinnacle representative feel about that?
I totally agree.
You're freelancing, so it's okay.
No, I'm with Pinnacle.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
What did
On his arm, ring on the finger.
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
No, I write the Pinnacle News every week too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's me. If you
Awesome.
see any errors in there, it's entirely my fault. Anyway,
Red pen.
gaming.
Gaming.
I was this close to gaming this week. It's been a long time, folks. No, I was supposed to start a Mutants and Masterminds game this past Sunday, and our GM unfortunately had a rough first week at a new job. So real life intervened, whatever. And
It's a good thing, you're a copywriter, not an editor.
yeah, exactly. No, I'm everything. Anyway, so yeah, that game went out the window, but it's postponed. It'll happen. So hopefully down the line.
You remember when you were a kid? Remember when you were younger? Like real life didn't really enter into
No.
it too much.
No, real life was gaming.
Unless somebody
Real
broke
life
their
was
arm,
gaming.
it really wasn't a problem. And now it's like,
And even if they broke their arm,
You
it's
broke
only
your
like
arm, you
that
still showed
while
up for the
they're at
game.
hospital.
right.
You still showed up for the game after they've put your arm in a cast.
Oh, hi guys.
Hi guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would ride our bikes to get to the
Yeah,
game.
oh, yeah.
And it always seemed like it was spontaneous.
Yep.
It'd be like, hey, what are we going to do tomorrow? We're going to
gonna
play a game. We're going to play D&D.
We're going to play D&D.
Oh,
of
okay,
course.
cool. And that was it.
I'm on it. Yeah.
Oh, I missed
Life
those
was
days.
simpler.
Yeah, I was. It was Friday night. You'd stay up all night, do game, and then
Oh,
Saturday, and then
yeah.
maybe Sunday you do it again, and then do your homework Sunday night and go to school. Yeah,
That was my
you
life.
do Friday night and Sunday
I remember
night.
those days. Yeah.
Sunday afternoon maybe. Yeah. And nowadays it's like, well, I got to pencil you in. I got to figure out my schedule. I got to say, well, I got to. It's our anniversary. I probably shouldn't go then. Although maybe I can sneak out. Yeah, it's rough. Things are more
yeah.
complicated now.
It is.
It's hard, and then people start having kids, and then it gets even more complicated.
And then they game, and then it's cool again.
But they don't want to game with you.
No, which is fine. I want to game
Oh,
with my
heck
kids.
no.
You.
Oh heck no!
So anyway, yeah, missed opportunity. How about you?
No, I've been buried in work. Oh, I did do a vampire game, but you can hear all about that on the
Last
EP.
Sunday, yeah.
Last Sunday, and then it's going to be
That was a good
it's gonna
one
be dark
too.
for a while.
That was a good one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, those are all. I realized I haven't been posting them on for the podcast.
Yeah.
Oops.
Eeks.
Like 4 of them.
Because there's spoilers that we've already talked about. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So one came out this week, one's coming out next week, and the other one's coming out.
Okay.
We
after
have
that.
we have lots of content getting created.
Generated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me about it. It's like takes about 5 hours a week now to get all that stuff up.
Crunch it all down.
It is. I have to bounce it all down and
Yeah.
then upload it and then make all the things. I have to figure out a way to automate that. It's killing me.
Did you have a kid that stays up all night and can hit the button?
No, I have to write all the stuff. That's why I made all those forms. Well, that's
And then
that's
OBS.
Just get one of those dipping birds, get like 5 of them, and then set the thing so that it hits it at the right time.
If an infinite number of monkeys tap on an infinite number of keyboards,
Who are you calling a
eventually
monkey?
right.
they will write the collected
That's
works
true.
of Shakespeare.
Speaking of pressing buttons, is anybody else playing that stupid paperclip game?
What paperclip game?
Oh my god, I'm not even going to go into it. So there's this, it's like this weird, I'm going to go into it.
Apparently.
As we go into it,
You'll have to Google it because I don't even remember what it's called, but it's like this. You start out manufacturing paper clips, and as you go, you build up your technology and you build up your AI, and eventually you start leaving the planet. And
is this an homage to the guy that parlayed the paperclip into a new house? Is this an homage to that dude?
It could be.
Because remember, he was like trading a paperclip, and it went up and up and up and up and up, and eventually got a house from a paperclip.
Is this kind of like Sim Earth?
It's all just text. It's just this one screen. You play it in your browser. And somebody mentioned it to me recently, and I finally gave it a shot. And I can't stop.
It scratches all your itches. It's like Zork back in the day.
But it's just it's just
Zork.
watching and monitoring and clicking and saying, yeah, I think I'll augment my system with that thing. Oh, okay, and now I have enough credits to do that. And then, oh, look at how many paper clips I'm... Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
No, there was a guy.
Is anybody else playing that then?
No. Just
anybody in the chat? Anybody?
Is it called
Probably.
Paperclip or?
It's... Oh, I know paper clips in the name.
Oh, dear.
I'll do a search.
Yeah.
You know the story I'm talking about with the guy that this is a true story. This guy got online with a paperclip and said, "I'll trade this paperclip for like a candy bar or whatever," and it escalated, and he eventually parlayed this paperclip after like 5,000 different trades, upgrading each time into a house. He got a house for free, starting with a paperclip after like 3 or 4 years. It was sort of this experiment, and he didn't expect it to go that far.
That's wild.
But it turned into it was a really cool thing, and I have a feeling that that's kind of what this is based on. Where you start with this paperclip, and then you trade and upgrade and add stuff, and eventually go up from there.
Wow.
So he probably parlayed the paperclip thing that he did and his house into this game.
Could be.
It's crazy.
Now he's made even more money.
Did you play anything?
I
Vampire last Sunday.
played Vampire, and that's it. I ran Vampire. I've been painting my
Warhammer.
Your
my
Warhammer.
Warhammer army.
How's it going?
I'm stuck on the Sangors, which are the little dudes that aren't in armor. They're like your meat shields.
See, that is one black hole I never ventured into.
He resisted for the longest time. He's fallen down.
I just got
expensive
into
black
it
hole, too.
like in July.
the miniatures with the gateway.
Well, you started with.
I don't even want to say how much.
What was that game?
That's the problem.
with the game you started with tanks and.
Well, which I never actually played a game of. But
Right. I saw a bunch
Yankee.
of miniature Team Yankee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Team Yankee is it's a World War III game. It takes place sometime in the 80s, and it's the Soviet Army, U.S. Army, and then there's British and East and West Germans, and all that. And then little tanks and little infantry dudes, and same people that make Flames of War.
Okay.
And I got a lot of tanks done, and then I'm like,
Because I know you bought an airbrush and a compressor.
oh yeah,
and-
I still have I've been using some of that stuff to make the Warhammer army.
Yeah.
The Warhammer I've actually played a few times. I started out with they have a little like a starter box. Comes with 5 Space Marines, 3 Chaos Nurgle Marines, and some Poxwalkers. So you have some small groups, and they give you like a fold-out map that's double-sided, and the box flips over, and that becomes a piece of scenery on the map. And then
Very clever.
and the scenarios, there's like 5 of them in it. Each one introduces a new rule. So they teach you the
cool.
basic mechanics of the game by playing these 5 scenarios in order. By the time you're done, you have the basics of the game mechanics down. So my son and I, he's 10, we sat and played it for a while, and we had fun. And I put the miniatures together, and then we played a little bit, and then I painted them, and then we played some more. And then he's like, yeah, we should go and see what else they have.
And then the black hole opened.
So my son and I go down to the game store, and of course, Games Workshop over here has a lot of Warhammer stuff.
You know that
that's their
scene
bread
in
and butter.
Buck Rogers in 25th Century where he's just sort of the frozen, and he's spinning down into the hole. That was Stu.
Right. So then I picked up the larger starter box, which was Dark Imperium,
They get you.
and that came with a bunch of Nurgle, and it came
First
with
hit.
First hit.
and then I'm like, you know what? Yeah, the Space Marines are cool, and the Nurgle guys are cool, but I really like the way the Thousand Suns work. So then I went out and bought basically 1,000 points of Thousand Suns dudes, and I've got those about.
And he had to buy paint and an airbrush. And
I already had the airbrush from the other thing, and
He's getting
but I
really
did have
good
to
at
buy
painting.
some paint. I'm getting better.
Oh, I'm sure you're exceptional now.
And the
Better than I am.
Sharpie, the
it work?
Sharpie,
The metal
it was
Sharpie?
yeah, the metallic Sharpie, because the Thousand Suns guys have a lot of little gold filigrees and trim on them.
Oh,
It's
sure.
all tons of it. So it take the little Sharpie and do it with
Bip,
that.
bip, 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 done.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it's shiny.
are you actually sitting here like wanting to go and paint because you got to get that armor
No,
done? Okay.
no.
It was for a while.
The painting is a chore, and it's been a chore
Okay.
almost the entire time. I want to play them.
Right.
Because especially that army, because I've been reading about with the new, because they just came out with 8th edition rules in June, so it's like a big reboot for the whole thing. But I've been reading through it, trying to figure out, and I kind of bought most of the army before I really understood how the army would play. So I had to go get a couple extra things because it turns out they really need their psychers.
Now, I didn't read the article, but there was a headline I saw this morning about WizKids in Games Workshop partnering up. Do you know anything about this?
No, I do not.
I didn't read it, so
I'll look it up.
We'll find out. So
yeah,
So is it universal paper clips?
I think so.
Yeah, it's right here. Make
Yes.
paper clips 0. Make paper clip business
do it.
available
Don't do
funds
it.
0. Unsold inventory 0.
Yep, that's it.
Price per paper clip 25 cents. That's far too cheap. I'm going to raise my price.
It'll show you what the demand is.
Public demand 24%.
Yeah, that's very low.
Well, if 24% of the people buy a paper clip at 34 cents,
So you got to start manufacturing your paper clips.
well, there's a button right here.
Yeah, and you have to keep clicking on
I made
it, and then eventually you can start
Can
automating.
I just sell the one?
For like $250,000.
I'm going to start reading the next email.
Yeah. Anyway.
Go ahead. So I just got to sit here and click until it's some cell.
Yeah.
Glossing over combat from Charis. Hello, you who happily jack the douche. That sounds dirty.
Hell.
Charis here again. I'm writing with a response to a subject from your previous episode, Season 20, Episode 9, mainly dealing with combat at the start of the adventure. An idea I had for just such instances was glossing over those initial combats. What I mean by that is I have my players roll their primary combat skill once. Then, judging on the results, narrate how the initial combat went on for each of them. Depending on the results, this may mean the party was beaten back and needs to recover. Maybe it was a stalemate and leads to a more peaceable interaction with the other side. Maybe the story starts with a sound victory for the players, but the villain escaped, or they find out the boss was just a middleman. This may just as well be an turning the page exercise in collaborative storytelling for the group, where they set up the stage for the first act, depending on the results they had. What do you think? Keep up the great show and have a drink. I'm out of drink. P.S. Any chances for a full crew on the show anytime soon?
Everyone? No, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, the crew's gotten really huge.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's like
you get more than
14 of us.
well, 4.
Man.
More than that, it's everyone talking over each other
Right.
because it just gets chaotic. With some of the early episodes,
There was
Act.
one episode where there were 13 people in there.
and it was ridiculous.
It was. It was crazy.
Go ahead.
I think that you've basically hit it on the head, Charis, that this is an exercise in collaborative storytelling, that you're seeding with a couple of dice rolls and then basically letting people freeform the narrative around that however they see fit. I don't see a problem with that, but I think you've hit it on the head as to what you're doing. I like I said, I don't have a problem with that.
You are sidestepping the whole we meet in a pub and now everybody ends up arguing and not liking each other. You're
This
starting
is-
writing combat. so
This
it's
is in
already
direct
happening.
response to an email from I think it was last week, where a guy had just ended a session, and he had noticed if he starts his game session with a combat, the engagement of the players just plummets after the combat's over. So he wanted to figure out how he could handle that situation.
Oh, yeah, I
What
did
he's
hear
saying-
that.
Yeah, what he's suggesting is just to kind of gloss over, and making the combat go by quick, making enemies run away, or just making them go away.
Again, if you have a min-maxer or a power gamer in your group, they're going to be mad that they weren't allowed to maximize their character.
Yeah, well, his whole point in that email was that the players, they lose engagement after the combat's
No,
over.
I get that.
If it's in the beginning for some reason.
Yeah.
He didn't
Interesting.
really know why. Yeah.
I actually think it's a great idea to start a game. It's like you guys start in combat. It sidesteps the whole you meet in a pub. It's like you're just starting in combat and you can gloss over it because now everybody's already been working together. You guys are already together. I don't know. It's a better way than just all right. You meet in a pub and then we're going to spend the next 3 sessions trying to figure out why you guys are going to kill each other.
Well, I think in the previous letter, he was saying in a particular was about a session, about
Yeah,
starting
right.
a session
A specific
with
thing.
combat, and everybody's wiped out after that, and now
Right.
nobody wants to really do much after spending however long fighting.
Yeah.
The only issue I might have with this suggestion is that it's a total departure from what will eventually happen. Like, who's to say that in an hour of good role playing after this, you're then going to a regular combat, and it's suddenly a completely different animal.
Right.
And that might be a little tricky to segue into, but
I can see that.
It would be a little
I think he has a
uncongruous.
specific problem. I don't know if that's indicative of a lot of groups where they lose interest after combat, but maybe.
Well, it depends. I mean, no, you're playing D&D.
My-
4th edition D&D.
It could also depend.
Who doesn't lose interest after a long
Well,
4th
because
edition
it lasts for
D&D?
8 hours.
It could also depend on what happens immediately after the combat.
Yeah.
sure.
Because, if you have fight, and then you go, okay, and then you go to the tavern. It's like, okay,
Throw in some, some weird, like
there needs to be
incongruous,
some-
unexplainable things immediately after the combat happens. Like they kill the bad guy, and they go and they find something on him that he should not have in his possession. How
Right.
did he get it? What do we need to do?
or something happens like right at the end of the combat that gives you a seed for the next thing that's going to happen.
Right.
That catches you, but you have to catch their attention.
I'm curious about what it is about the players that makes them. I mean, are they just want to do combat, and after combat they don't want to role play anymore, or,
No,
or
I
do they
don't
want to
think
role
so.
play all the time, but
not
then
the
combat takes it
impression I
out of
got.
them?
That's not what I
Because
got either.
I kind of feel like then you shouldn't have combat in your games, or try to avoid it as much as possible, because it sounds like after combat they're like, well, now we're bored, or they don't.
Or do a game that's all combat.
Right.
You know.
Well, I either way, I'm not sure which
Fighting
way the
with
players
fighters
go.
on.
Right. If they're all fighters, yeah.
I think I would just want to plant something in the very end of the combat that gives them a spark to follow right after that. Something to catch their attention.
It's easier said than done, but yeah.
Well, you might have to run to the bathroom to come up with
yeah.
It's possible. It's possible. Wait,
it
wait.
all comes back to the.
Yeah, bring it back around.
I'm wondering. I don't think I've ever really heard of this problem. Yes, I get it. The combats can be long in D&D. Yes, I get it that there are some people that just live for combat and they tune out for role play. Is that what that group is? Is that they just don't want the role play?
I don't know. We only had it, his description of it. It didn't sound like that.
Well, something I find interesting is that he's describing players losing interest after the combat.
But only when the game sessions start
Starts with combat.
That's
Oddly
what
specific.
But
Yes.
something we've noticed in our actual plays is that when there's combat, that's when interest from the listeners drops
That
off.
is true. Watchers
viewership
tend to
drops.
start clicking out. Yeah.
Viewers who are watching live on the stream.
It devolves
It's an
into
interesting
mechanics. Yeah, it's not fun to
disconnect.
watch.
Right. Although I think having when the party's fighting amongst themselves and people are handing out help a player.
Well, that's just
things
drama.
Actually, that got ridiculous when you and Asa,
Legitimately arguing.
right?
Yeah.
Because Mac was playing a vampire who had been staked, and she'd been staked while she was in frenzy, and we were trying to figure out would she still be in frenzy once they pulled the stake out, and Stork's character had been misbehaving in such a way that they tried to stop him and they couldn't. So they're like, well, she's sitting right there. She was in frenzy and there's a stake in her. Let's pull it out and see if the human hand grenade explodes.
Yeah, you do.
And then people were like spending beers left and right, giving Stork extra. We had a help a player mechanic
Right.
where you get a pair of extra dice. You can use it for any role you want. And I think Asa or Mac at this point has like 16
I think
of
you
them.
said.
And you've got
I've
an
spent a
arm
few.
load.
Yeah.
You have spent some.
Well, not to the specifics you say are a bit off, but yeah. But what basically yeah. At one point, because Asa was unconscious and the player wasn't actually here, we talked our way out of not unstaking her because there was no way. It's like now all of a sudden she becomes an NPC,
Right.
which wasn't fair.
Yeah, I don't like.
So we had to talk our way out of that, but yeah, it did generate a lot of interest with the rest of the players. I think specifically the Happy Jacks people love role play, But I know that there's a lot of games out there that run combat heavy, and that's really
sure.
all they want.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there's a lot of different flavors of games out there, and I can't judge which one's better or worse. I'm not a big fan of combat all the time because it just devolves into mechanics. I roll this, I got this, what do I need to hit, what do I do that? And as nice as that is for a brief amount of time, I want to have more fun moving the story forward, and less about number crunching.
I get that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Charles, for the email.
Thank you.
PC killing another PC on purpose from Steve in Atlanta.
Steven Atlanta, I guess it's my turn.
Go ahead.
Hello, crew of the Flying Jackalope. Jackerlope. I have a short tale of PC death caused by another PC. The system is Dark Heresy.
Warhammer 40K.
Warhammer 40K.
Wafwork.
What I was just talking about.
Wafwork. How do you... Okay. And the date, real time, was back in the mid-2000s. I was playing a sniper, and the leader of our little gang of heresy hunters, my wife, girlfriend at the time, was playing a psyker.
Oh, Steve from Atlanta is in the chat.
The mission was a parcels test, and we were heading at high speed to the evac site. The psyker has to tap into the void a bit more than usual, and some bad dice rolls made everyone a bit worried. Note, psychers have a bad habit of calling on too much power and opening ways for real nasty stuff to enter our world.
It's terrible when psychers go awry, yes.
We got pinned down, sort of evac, and started taking down some bad guys for cover. The psyker let loose with some mind-blasty thing. It's been over 10 year details are fuzzy, and rolled. The effect went off and cleared out some bad guys. She then handed me a note. The void has me. They are coming through. Kill me now, or we are all dead. I looked at her. She nodded. I pulled my pistol and shot her between the eyes. I called for the team to move out and started running. The looks on the other players is burned in my mind, and I still treasure it. It's
Pretty brilliant.
That is beautiful.
Have any of you had a similar experience?
That is
Over.
not
Thank
that
you.
cool.
Thank you for the actual plays and podcasts. My commute is down to an hour each way, so 1 AP can last me a couple of days. Woot! Steve from Atlanta. P.S. Pointless in emails. Edit the damn thing already. P.P.S. Seems to be a trend, and I'm a trendy kind of guy. P.P.P.S. Enough already. Go ahead and drink. Forget this line was even there.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. That
Awesome
sounds
story.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of those moments of magic that comes up, that we live for in games when it all just comes together in that second.
I love that she had the courage
Oh yeah.
to sacrifice her character like that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that is a really astute role player, especially early on. It's like you're like, I want to win. I want to win. I don't want to die. And she looked at him and went, shoot me.
Yeah.
Because she knew. And that's cool. That's cool on all sides.
I love
I
that.
applaud that.
That reminds me of his character's sacrifice. He was playing a crazy in the Savage Worlds Rifts game.
Yeah.
And they have what's it called, Blaze of Glory,
Yeah.
which is a mechanic that...
Yeah, Scott, do you know anything about that?
I mean, a little bit.
Okay.
But I had critically failed a roll to fire my boom gun and was going to hit...
Everybody.
Well, yeah.
I remember watching that.
Specifically Sam's character.
Yeah.
And Sam's character was
Dragon.
Bill's character's daughter. Crazy, right? Because she was a dragon, and he wasn't. But he claimed to have sat on her egg or something. I don't know. And so he did this Blaze of Glory thing and basically jumped up and took the railgun dart and obliterated into a fine mist. And because he was leaving, he was going to be moving anyway. So he's like, "This is a really cool place to get my character."
Savage Worlds has that mechanic built in. I think it's really cool when
In
people
Rifts.
yeah, okay.
Because it's not in the rest of the game.
That's true. I think it's really cool when I don't know many people that would just do that. That would just like, I'm in the middle of playing a game. I'm going to just sacrifice my character.
I do.
Do you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've seen Gina do it. I think it was an Atlas Reckoning game, sticks in my head, that she did that, but I could be misremembering. But yeah, I've seen other players do that. It's beautiful.
Cloak72 said, "I actually had a similar situation taken away from me by GM Fiat." I want to write that out really fast. I want to hear that story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, did you smack the GM? Because he deserved it.
Probably not.
Take it away.
And he also says that it's a great way to retire.
you didn't actually die, so
Well, self-sacrifice is
I would,
freaking awesome
Oh, yeah.
games. I remember one time I was playing a Call of Cthulhu game, and one of the guys in the group, and these were pretty new characters, but we went up against some horrific horror.
Elder God.
Yeah, and he grabbed a bunch of dynamite and lit it and jumped at the creature and just said, "Fuck you, you fucking fuck!" And
Oh, that's
the whole
awesome.
thing blew up. And it was an incredible blaze of glory.
Love it.
That's fantastic.
I said the F word. Is that okay?
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're good.
Actually, in Flash Gordon, a little tease.
Yeah, way to bring it in.
You can play robots. You can play robots, and they can self-destruct.
Oh, really?
So if they sustain a certain amount of damage, they can actually decide to blow themselves apart. So
Now, let me ask you: Did you guys license Flash Gordon, or is it in the public domain now?
no, we licensed it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 100% licensed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Here's his story. Cloak 72. Ready? Go.
Mhm.
First time GM.
Good story.
The lag is killing us.
Oh no!
Okay.
We can just fill in the
that's
gaps.
it. I think that's it. That's his
Yeah.
explanation.
Well, I can understand a GM having that moment of fear of, I've got a character who's about to die. I'm going to have a player who's going to be ticked off. But I can only speak for myself. But my experience with players is if their death was interesting, exciting, or memorable, they're going to be fine.
If your player puts himself into that position, then you should either reward him or punish him. But either way, you should go with it. I mean, it's one thing about, you're riding your horse down the lane and you get shot in the head with an arrow, roll up a new character. That's completely different than I grab the dynamite, I light it, I say, kiss my wife goodbye, and run off into the. And that's a completely different scenario. And I can see, a GM not rewarding one but rewarding the other. It's like, really, you're going to do this? Yeah, but a GM should. All right, if this is what you want, let's start making some rolls.
Absolutely.
In Bad Streets, there's a move called Lay It Down, and when your character lays it down for your partner or your fellow detectives, you die. It is actually the only way you can get killed in the game. But you roll. There's a roll, and on a full success, you get exactly what it plays out exactly the way you wanted it to. On a soft hit, 'cause powered by the apocalypse, you get what you wanted, but there's some problem. There's some issue with it. And if you miss, things don't work out the way you wanted them to. I had a 12-year-old kid playing Bad Streets at a con last year, and we're towards the end of the game, and his fellow detectives are taking fire from the bad guys. And there's like canisters of I think it was gasoline or something like that. And he said, "Can I dive into the way of the fire and like take out these canisters and like take out the bad guys and lay it down?" I went, "Do that, make that happen." And it was a beautiful thing because he saved all his fellow detectives.
Oh, yeah.
And they put a star up on the wall in the station house. And
The
whatnot
epilogue
for-
is
for
they're
the epilogue.
pulling out. They
Yeah.
start on the star and it pulls out, and
Yeah.
everybody's dabbing their eyes.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
you
It
know,
was,
they're
and it was a 12-year-old kid.
picking up
It was
donuts.
beautiful to
That's
watch.
really
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can see stuff like that happening in like L5R all the time.
Yeah,
Oh, heck yeah.
Because of honor, you
Right.
have to. I mean, it's almost demanded of you to
Yep.
lay down your life.
Okay,
that way.
we were going here. This is Cloak 72. We were going to have to sacrifice a kid to save the world. My character was based loosely on the agent from Serenity. I
Okay.
was all set to
I am a monster.
have him take the moral hit, doing what he thought was right for the good of the world, even if it damned him.
Okay.
And now
that's
we're
all.
waiting. It's just a little more.
And the GM said, "No, you don't have to take the moral hit because
I don't know.
I
don't know. That's a mystery. It's a mystery. It's
a mystery.
It's the anticipation of
the
a
mystery.
chat lag.
Inquiring minds want to know."
I should have like a special like Skype line that could say, "Here, use this," and just bring them into the
Yeah.
audio.
Oh yeah.
Next time we have immediate things like this, then yeah. But
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be hard
It
to
normally
set up
doesn't
now.
happen anyway.
That would be. Cool.
I can't think of a time when I've done this myself. I've never had the opportunity to really fully go out in a blaze of glory while trying to save everybody. I can think of.
Oh, use Discord. That's what they told me.
Oh yeah, all right,
That would
that
make
happens. I'm thinking of. It's not quite the same, but when you had Oppenheimer, where you basically switched morality.
That's because I was playing an asshole.
Yeah, well,
Big surprise. And I just had to give the character up because the rest of the party said, we're not going to work with him.
yeah. It's not quite the same in killing your character, but your character became an NPC.
Right.
But he was he was insane too, right?
He was a little on edge. I wouldn't call him insane.
No,
He had
no.
issues, but all heroes have issues.
No fascist thinks they're
He was a little
Insane is such a
He was a little
ugly
dark.
word.
He was a little dark. And actually, not in the was it in the last two Savage Worlds Rifts games ago? I was fully prepared to do that because we had this orb generator thing, and we were trying to figure out how to stop it because we were trapped inside of it with all these ghosts who had been fucking with us incessantly.
like they do.
Right.
As they do.
They do. Yeah.
And
Like a poltergeist.
and we tried a bunch of stuff, couldn't figure out how to stop it. I'm like, I know exactly how to. And I was like,
You turn off the containment field is what you do.
I was in the
He knows that.
I was in the control room, and there's like a little suspension thing holding like some sort of magical gem or something.
Twinkie.
So I took my rail gun, leaned it up against the thing,
As you do.
and it blew me back and damaged my armor and all that stuff. But I mean, the thing it solved the problem.
Yeah.
It
There
was
you
all
go.
fine till Dickless turned off the containment field.
Is that true? Yes,
Yes.
sir. This man has no dick. Okay, let's see. The GM had an NPC do it before I could.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
which was
rough.
his plan all along, so we wouldn't have to make the choice. Why even offer the choice if
right?
we're not going to have to make it?
Bait and switch.
That's
That
First
sucks.
time GM.
yeah.
First
Yeah,
time
but
GM.
No, I understand.
now I understand. I get that, and maybe he learned. But also, it's kind of as a first-time GM, it's kind of edgy to set that up in the first place.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that moral conundrum.
I give him props for that.
It was a good idea. He just should have gone with it.
But you know what?
Should have stood on it.
Even like in the con game or something, I would hedge my bets too. I'm like, I'm not sure if everybody's going to want to do this, or if they do, if they're not going to be mad at me for it. I might want to have an NPC standing by just in case.
I would.
I can totally get that mindset.
I understand that. I wouldn't do it. I would.
Well,
I
you
would
like
put it-
Hey, you might have when you started.
yeah,
well,
and
I
you
was
play with
17.
players that you know are going to make that moral decision, but you don't always know that. You don't always have that luxury.
Today, what I would do is if none of the player characters are willing to make that sacrifice, the bad thing that they're trying to prevent is going to happen.
I tend to think, knowing myself when I was a teenage boy, moral conundrums and things like that, they would have been lost on us.
Right.
Yeah.
They
Just
would
go.
have.
Let's blow this thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
when I was 17,
Set it on fire.
when I was 17, my version of game prep was to draw a map and start going through the monster manual looking for monsters
Yep.
to put in.
Sure.
there.
Oh,
that was
exactly.
This is room A.
Yep.
And that is. Oh, okay.
That's how we were talking. That's how monsters
Demogorgon. I don't care that they're third level; they'll be fine.
I know I flunked math class because I was busy drawing dungeons.
Oh, yeah.
But you read a lot when you were
Absolutely, I
and you
did.
knew what nil meant.
Yes. And I knew what tessering was.
All right, that's it. That's all we got. Short
Yeah.
show because I got to get up early in the morning.
Oh.
What's going on in the morning?
Real life shit.
Real life shit.
Real life shit. That's
You know,
fun.
like
All right.
All right.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah, thank you for coming down. I appreciate
man.
it.
yep.
great.
Sorry it was so short.
Thank you, sir.
We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah,
Nice meeting
yeah.
you.
Unless
you're
you
local.
hate me and
Turns out
Now.
he's local
makes
now.
that guy doesn't come into the studio. Yeah, right. Comes in and drinks our LaCroix.
I'll have beer next time.
He's until he runs out of swag, he's going to push. He's not going
Yeah.
to shut up. So hey,
I'm giving
just
you
to
guys
remind
this.
everybody.
Do that again here now. So I
Oh,
can,
yeah.
and I'll use the thing. And
This
it'll
is all stuff I've done.
and go through it real quick here.
So, Cinnamon Sorcery is published by Green Ronin. You can get it off Amazon or in your friendly local game store or bookstore or whatever. So,
And that is again a compilation of
the entire history of sword and sorcery movies from the silent era to the present day, more or less to the present day,
More or less.
with statted artifacts.
with some statted items and monsters and things from various movies. Your favorite movies are all in
Did
here.
you get the
I'm
Tor
sure.
movies in there?
The what?
The Tor ones? There was like one that was awful.
Tor.
Gore?
I remember it.
Tor. Yeah, don't correct me.
No, because
yeah.
it's sci-fi.
Oh, that's true.
What is it
counts
with
as
you?
sci-fi.
It's on a planet.
Everything is not sword and sorcery, Tor.
Six Gun is available from Pinnacle.
Right.
It's still available. You can order it, and I wrote the entire line. You can get a GM screen. You can get.
really? Okay.
There's even a Deadlands crossover adventure I wrote.
And it is
Oh, cool.
based on a
Awesome.
really cool.
Based on an awesome
novel
graphic novel
IP.
series. Yeah, by
Oh,
Oni. published by Oni Press.
is the
Makes for a
Dragon
super
Slayer
good
sword
game.
in there? Did you stat that one up? For
No, I think the
Vermithrax?
shield is in there.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Aha! The
Vermithrax Pejorative.
The spear is
the
better.
best dragon ever realized in cinema.
I agree, and the best name too.
Yep.
Vermithrax.
And then, the audios, these are all from Big Finish Productions. You can get them through bigfinish.com, I think, is Big
Okay.
Finish or Big
Send me links.
I'll give you
I'll give you my email.
And Flash Gordon, keep your eyes out for the Kickstarter. It is coming soon in the next few weeks. We're kind of just wrapping up some stuff right now on that. It's been a couple years in the making, and we're extremely proud of it. So
Is it backward compatible with Slipstream?
Sure. I mean, it's Savage World, so everything can be crossed over.
There we go.
Now,
That's what we love about
let me-
Savage Worlds.
How far into the production process do you get before you guys put the Kickstarter out? Is there like a general?
Pretty much to the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you're like-
everything's written.
Oh, no kidding.
Except for, I will admit, I'm writing right now the 32-page epic adventure that's going to accompany the GM screen.
Okay.
We kind of.
Oh, you're gonna add an adventure when you buy the GM screen?
So you'll get an adventure with the GM screen, just as I wrote one for Six Gun.
Okay.
One came with the GM screen. So yeah, there will be one with the GM screen, but we're also going to do the dice, and we're going to do. We have a source book called Kingdoms of Mongo, which is written. It's a beast of a book. Actually, the core book is a beast of a book too. These are both pretty good size, almost 200-page books.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's
yeah.
big for Savage Worlds book.
These are
Wow.
Are they the normal size Savage Worlds, the big ones? Like you
No,
guys have, or-
everything is now graphic novel size.
Okay.
Yeah, from now on. So that's coming up.
Awesome.
And then I've got some other fingers and pies. Probably next week there'll be an announcement about a short story I'm writing for a friend's Kickstarter for a reward level. Hopefully that gets enough money so I can get that out too.
Cool.
Writing a story about Dracula.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
Very cool.
All right.
We'll have to bring you back just to find out how these things go.
Oh,
yes.
Because otherwise we won't keep up.
All right.
We're listeners of Happy Jack.
Thank you for joining us for Season 20, Episode 10 of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
I am still Jib.
I'm Scott.
I'm Stork.
And thank you again for coming. I appreciate it. And let's see. Sunday,
Dead Rain.
Dead Rain.
Monday, Riffits.
Monday, Riffs.
And
Wednesday
is
Razor Ridge. Thank you very much. We'll leave with a song. We're off camera.
Well, we all set sail for Ireland. 'Tis a place where good ale flows, where the maidens are fair in the warm summer's air, and they sing songs that everyone knows. God help you if you are an Englishman, for you better learn to drink quick. For those damned Irish lushes, they drink their ale in flushes, and they'll drink it all before you take a sip.
We've been kicked out of every pub in Ireland. We've been beaten within inches of our lives, for we act like asses to those fair Irish lasses. It's a wonder any one of us survives.
Well, the lasses there are quite pretty, you see. Their beauty is the fairest work of art, and their Irish brogue can tame any rogue and send Cupid's arrow through his heart. But they talk too much and they won't shut up, and those cursed women do not know their place. off and punch you in your face.
We've been kicked out of every pub in Ireland. We've been beaten within inches of our lives, for we act like asses to those fair Irish lasses. It's a wonder any one of us survives.
Well, it was there I was drinking one fine morning, scaring up some pretty Irish fun, when behind me there loomed such a shadow, and I leapt up from me seat for to run. Well, I swear it was a mountain of muscle that broke my jaw and threw me out the door. 4'7" was her height, but her anger gave her might, and she looks big when you're lying on the floor.
We've been kicked out of every pub in Ireland. We've been beaten within inches of our lives, for we act like asses to those fair Irish lasses. It's a wonder any one of us survives.
Well, every wench gets a pinch on the arse when they pass us with tankards of ale, and we loves to flirt and lift up their skirts and offer them a fine English mail. Well, I offered one a penny for a roll in the hay, but that wench she cried and she called. But that penny should be dear, they don't make that in a year. It's a wonder they make anything at all.
We've been kicked out of every pub in Ireland. We've been beaten within inches of our lives, for we act like asses to those fair Irish lasses. It's a wonder any one of us survives.
Well and good are the tales of our travels, and from them we pray that you will learn that the girls from Erin's Isle are much more than curls and smiles, though in our English hearts for them we yearn. Like whiskey and bitters, or a moth and its flame, or more volatile of mixtures can't be paired. So when you go a-travelling, if that bodice you're unraveling belongs to an Irish lassie, be prepared.
We've been kicked out of every pub in Ireland. We've been beaten within inches of our lives, for we act like asses to those fair Irish lasses. It's a wonder any one of us survives. We've been kicked out of every pub in Ireland. We've been beaten within inches of our lives, for we act like asses to those fair Irish lasses. It's a wonder any one of us survives.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.
Bum, 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 bum.